Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan.
At your service.
Sabrina as Sylvie.
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mogram.
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy.
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
And me, Paul, as the guy who's really good at making up names for things on the fly, like the gondolas, Pole Package, and Little Butter.
I love the Little Butter so much.
Full package.
Well, I'm also really good at describing things on the fly, like when I told you all about Corwin Frostborn's keelboat and described it as being red and white striped. Genius stuff. In that vein, I'm going to continue my streak of awesome ad-libs by making up the rest of this intro as I go. Go give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts, like iHeartRadio, Podcast Central. Now this is podcasting, Pod to Your Mother, Podcast Iron Skillet, or other ones you might use.
Those sound like they were written down, Paul.
I like the podcast iron skillet, though.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You should become a patron. Give me monies. Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
FanX 2024 is happening, so we should totally meet up or whatever. Anyway, if you ever were in Hyrule, then this podcast is for you.
I've been there before. Shout out to the new Zelda game coming out.
Oh, I can't wait to play that.
It's Chorus of the Forsaken episode. Which episode are we on?
We've been podcasting for a year on this new campaign, and you can't remember?
What? It's our anniversary, our podiversary.
Oh, episode 52?
50.
50.
Just
Episode
50.
50. Nailed it.
First try. All right.
Confession time. That was written down. My favorite was, you should become a patron. Give me monies. Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
That's actually the first thing that I wrote, and that was my inspiration for the rest of the intro. Give me monies. Yum, yum, yum.
Money, please.
Good one, Paul. Hit it out of the park, as usual.
Gilda Sogson, I hope this letter finds you well. I really enjoyed our night together.
Ooh.
You and your sisters took to my game. I barely know ya so well. I can't believe the story you told during the Gnome's Tale portion. Maybe I don't remember all the details, but by then we were a bit sloshy. I've written the rules out at the bottom of the letter, just in case you'd like to play it again. Remember, you'll need a deck of cards, a bell, and a few buttons. It would be fun to play again, the next time I'm back that way. I'm saving up my coins to open up my own proper brewery when my adventure is over, and I'd love to pick your brain about the ins and outs of running a large-scale operation like yours. Now, we arrived safely at our destination of Claudvina. Our travels were eventful. I nearly drowned. We met some old witches that might have been something more sinister. But I failed my Arcana check, so I really don't know what they were. We took a tour of the city, and we settled in the fanciest hotel. But the reason we're here is we're pursuing a necromancer by the name of Bubbles. He's somehow survived for an unreasonable amount of time. Now, this part is just speculation, but I believe this Bubbles is behind all of the necropurges that the Aeonians have been fighting against for centuries, perhaps? I really don't know. We found where he's hiding, and we're in pursuit. We tried to confront him in the streets, but it didn't end well. He poked me with a rancid finger. It felt as bad as the finger from the story you told.
You should get that checked out.
I need to hear this story. Oh my gosh.
If you don't mind, I'd like to write you on occasion, and I hope to sometimes spend more time with you. your fellow top shelf brewer, Ornan Opalbleacher.
Nice. All right. Well, welcome back to Clodvina. We rejoin our heroes, Wilhelm Associates, outside of the Prosperous Path Guild Hall. Bubbles having just gone inside of the Prosperous Path Guild Hall after casting Finger of Death upon Ornan. As you guys were...
We just wanted to ask him some questions.
Yeah, we just wanted to chat.
Well, as I recall, one of you made a check and did really well, and then the other one wanted to know all about his brother, or wanted to tell him something about his brother, and then everything went to shit after that. So, Bubbles has literally just gone into the Prosperous Path Guild Hall through their gatehouse for their complex. The gatehouse has a large, 10 or 15 foot gate on it, and then there's a small postern door a little bit further south.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then there's the reason I said that is because there's also a smaller postern gate that's a little bit further south of the gatehouse, just right close by. And that small postern gate is the one that Bubbles ran up to and pounded on and said, "I'm here," and then was allowed into the guild hall. The door shutting and locking behind him. You are all here in the street. It is nighttime and dark. Some of you have taken a beating, I believe. At the end of the last session, Annalise had done some healing to Sylvie and Guy, and Ornan was still above half hit points. So what are you guys going to do here in the street?
Last ditch effort. Guy's just going to yell out, "We just wanted to talk with you about Oak Road."
I am going to have you know what? At this point, I'm not even going to let you make a check.
Yeah, I figured as much.
You call out and yell out. And then you hear somebody calling out from a window of one of these nearby homes or these storefronts, yells out, "Hey, we're trying to sleep here. Shut up." And then somebody else says, "Was somebody doing firecrackers out there? What's going on? This neighborhood has gone to piss." And anyway, so people are starting to kind of call out. There are some dogs and stuff barking from the loud thunderclap them cheeks that Sylvie did. Annalise looks at you guys. She says, maybe we should get away."
Well, we know that he's not in that shed. We might be able to go examine its contents without being interrupted.
And maybe hide in there too if anybody's looking for the source of that noise, which definitely wasn't me. I tripped into some trash cans.
And farted at the same time. It was very loud.
Happens to the best of us. I even sneezed a little bit too.
Isn't that why we
sneezing
call it
and farting?
Clapping the cheeks? Because your cheeks clap when you fart?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm always saying.
Sneezing and farting at the same time is like a recipe for a really juicy shart.
Just so you guys remember where you're at, you are right now outside of the Prosperous Path Guild Hall, which is the Great Serpent kind of separates the city of Clodvina north to south in a winding, circuitous kind of route. But there is on the southern part of the city in Bridgetown, the furthest east point on the south side of that Great Serpent Canal, there is an island. The Prosperous Path Guildhouse is right on the edge, right on that cape of this last island furthest east of in Bridgetown. Okay, so what are you guys gonna do? It is late and people are yelling at you.
All right, let's hurry. Let's go check out the shed. I'm serious. I can go pick that lock. I'm very good at it.
Yeah, maybe it's a nice she shed. Got some crafting materials we could use.
I'm wondering if Jingles might be down there. We can talk with him potentially.
So you guys are going to head back towards the shed next to the Whispering or the Weathered Willows Inn. You guys start to move island to island across the bridges. You leave the angry neighborhood behind rather quickly. You get not lost, but you lose yourself amongst the buildings and through alleyways and streets. This part of the city, Bridgetown, is quite cramped with houses and buildings, built sometimes one basically on top of the other, and it's easy to get lost. But you guys have learned quite quickly, if you keep the Great Serpent in view, it's pretty easy to figure out where you're at in the city. You move back through the city past the Ram's Head Guild Hall, where those mercenaries from Siren Barony, where they are housed, past the Temple of Selune, and back to the Weathered Willow Inn. Did you guys want to talk about anything as you are moving?
How's everybody doing for health?
I'm only down 10. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm a lot better now that Annalise healed us.
Well, if we take a nap tonight, I should be just fine, but I can keep going for now.
Okay.
Why do you suppose he refused to talk with us?
I think he might be a bad guy.
There is that potential. It is possible that whatever power is keeping him alive has also twisted or warped his mind. I would imagine that staying alive for that long could lead someone, especially under that kind of duress and magical prowess, it could lead to some mild insanity as well.
Margaret, I've been thinking about something, about Bubbles in particular. I wonder if he might be behind all of these necropurges that the Krahanest has been fighting against for who knows how long.
You know, I suppose it could be a possibility. I always had the impression that it was kind of almost an organization of necromancers, or kind of a cult or coven of some sort, but perhaps he was involved, or maybe was the founding member of such a group. I don't know. It is purely speculation for me, but that is a possibility.
He did go into a building marked PP. Does that maybe mean anything? I know how your kind feel about that.
I mean, we all are super into it, so...
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
Well, if it's all related to the events of Oak Road, perhaps he's working for that spirit that was trapped in the tomb, and maybe that's all involved with these necropurges.
Well, and it would make sense that he's worked with people in the past. We ran into Cassandra the Unnatural, and we found his location because of a letter she had. She was working for him. So it may very well be that he is the source, but he's also recruiting acolytes.
I want everyone to make a history or insight check real quick. Okay, you know what? No more. No one else needs to do it.
You got a nat 20 for 21 on insight.
Okay. Nobody else needs to do it. Guy, you recognize as soon as...
Sylvie got a 23. Suck my nuts.
Okay, fine.
And that's history, so different information.
Well, basically, it was like, okay. So, Guy, you recognize something that Ornan said didn't sound right in your ears, and Sylvie, you remember specifically what it is, and you guys both come to the same conclusion at the exact same time. Ornan said, "The spirit from beneath the temple in Oak Road," and you guys both specifically remember it was not a spirit; it was an emaciated, like starved but tangible figure. And that is as much of the vision, as much of the memory of that figure as you have, but not a spirit.
Sylvie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
It was more of a zombie bro kind of guy than a spirit.
I was going to say, let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. It had a body.
Bro.
It wasn't a spirit. Okay.
Oh, I thought that's what we were saying. Sorry.
I've heard of Zombros before.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a fancy, Zombros sound like a fancy, shoe where you buy one pair and they donate a pair to, third world country. Zombros.
That would be way cooler, but instead these dudes just are kind of dead and eat brains.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yes, but there was a body. It wasn't a spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, so the necropurges I definitely think are related to Bubbles. And I want to say Jingles, too. Jingles is here, and Ornan, you saw through Jingles' eyes. I wonder if someone else is seeing through Bubbles' eyes.
I've wondered that too.
That is an interesting prospect.
And the priestess as well.
Has anybody else been following us besides Annalise? No offense, Annalise, but
She's like, no, we're all in this together.
She's
Sorry,
she's
I
a
didn't
member
help
of
you out
Vil-
last time.
She's a member of Wilhelm Associates. Annalise, you have a full-fledged associate member.
Maybe junior associate. I don't think we give
Junior
her a full
associate.
title.
member.
Associate, yeah.
She's an intern. That's
Yeah.
Not full
I
partner.
thought that's what we discussed. Was an
As you,
internship.
as you guys are approaching the Weathered Willows Inn, you come by the blacksmith shop that's on the south side of the shack. So if you recall, it's blacksmith shop, and then a little further north, right next to it, is the old shack, and then north of that is the Weathered Willows Inn. The shack is between the willows and the silver. That is what the note to Cassandra the Unnatural said. As you are approaching, though, you can see past the shack to the Weathered Willows Inn. You can hear still the sounds of talking and laughter coming from outside, coming from inside, but you do not hear any
They're
music.
probably still talking about my performance.
Well, you don't hear any more music, and probably the reason why you don't hear any more music is you actually see that sitting out in front of the building, by the front door, you see sitting on a little barrel is Baldric the Bard, the Black Dragonborn Bard. You see he is sitting out there. He is kind of just like looking at his lute, kind of plucking a string every once in a while, and then he will casually go down and give Pranciful some scritches and some scratches as Pranciful is sitting next to him. He looks down south towards you and waves at you guys as you are approaching.
Wait, so he saw us. So he saw us already.
He saw you, and he waves, and then he continues to like scritch Pranciful. You actually can see through Pranciful's eyes. You are now close enough to, if you want to. You get a sensation, though, from Pranciful of contentment and peace and relaxation.
Okay, I was hoping that we'd get close and I could have Prancil run off and get Baldric to run away so he wouldn't spot me trying to pick this lock. Okay, all right. Well,
Sylvie's going to go up and talk to him and try to distract him, talk to him about music and stuff.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you wander on up to Baldric.
Well, hey, buddy, I see you're out here. I hope you don't feel too bad after like having to follow my act. I know, you're no Sylvie the flutist, but I'm sure they still would love you.
He's like, no, I'm Baldric the Black. I do okay. But you left your snuggle dog here. I was worried you weren't coming back.
Oh, we would never forget our snuggle dog, would we, Pranciful? But I appreciate you looking out. Good on ya.
Hey, Sylvie, I thought that your stage name was the Bloodhound.
No, that's just who I am, like in general. That's just me. My stage name is Sylvie the Flautist.
Ooh,
It's classic.
I love flautas. They're like my favorite.
Too bad we don't have Chevys around here anymore.
This lock. Shut the up and pick your lock. Acting this dude for you.
So Guy walks up and then instantly turns back around.
I go talk like, oh, you know what? I actually have to go take a leak over here. And I'll go over by the shed.
He's like, oh, the latrines are on the north side.
No, you know what? There is something so exhilarating about peeing where you're not supposed to. In the open air.
I'm so glad I came up to talk to this guy. I'm so glad we made that so casual.
Why don't you make a perception check? I am going to try something.
Ooh, he got a 21 perception. Not bad.
Oh, and Baldric the Black rolled an insight check. And he kind of looks at you as you are talking. You get the impression he's not buying your reasoning, but you're not.
I am dressed really fancy and I have that really cool helmet on.
He's like, something's up. I mean, you might really will go pee in the alley or something, but he can sense that something's up. He kind of picks up Pranciful, and he's just petting Pranciful, while Sylvie, you are kind of razzing Baldric the Bard, and he looks at you and he says, well,
what? I was giving him good advice. I was being friendly. I was just trying to tap one musician to another, trying to give the little guy a little bit of a hand up.
He's like, do we need to have a bard off?
Oh, I don't want to barge you off.
You and me?
Oh, totally. 100% we must do Bard off right now.
Okay, so we know what Guy is doing. Guy is walking up and then going, oh, whoops, I gotta go pee, and walking back. What are Ornan and Magram and Annalise doing?
I'm waiting for the Bard off. Is what's happening.
Annalise doesn't kind of know what to do, so she's gonna wander back. She's gonna wander over into the alleyway with Guy.
Oh, thanks. I needed a hand.
All right. So then, okay. So while Sylvie and Baldric are going back and forth, and Magram is waiting for the bard off, Guy, what are you doing? You're approaching the door to the shed.
No, I don't know. I want to pick the lock, but I don't know that we're really distracting him well enough, especially since I figured he knows something's up.
Oh, we're not distracting him well enough, huh?
I screwed up. Okay. I think, okay, let's get rid of this guy, and then I'll come back to the door.
He goes wandering back in. He's got Pranceful under one arm. Guy, you get the impression, since you haven't given Pranceful any kind of instruction, Pranceful is perfectly content to be under this guy's arm.
Oh, and I'm happy with Pranceful being some kind of a distraction too, like to help out with the, just to occupy him.
He turns to you, Silva, and he points, and then he kind of turns his hand and like motions at you with one finger. And then he starts like doing like a Spanish guitar riff on his lute.
Wait, what's that song? It's like Candy's Home, or like the guitar and saxophone duet. What's that called?
Oh, yes. And
yes.
Yes. What is that one's called? Anyway, great song. But yes, anyway, so Baldric is calling you out, Sylvie. So we're going to do some performance checks. We're going to bounce them back and forth against each other.
This is more important than when Ornan almost died. I'm not going to lie.
All right. So, Magram, you are inside watching the bard off. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what Magram would do at this point.
Okay. And then Annalise is outside with Ornan and Guy. So we are going to do a series of 3 performance checks. So we'll do one performance check right now to get this party started. So Baldric rolled a 16 on his performance.
All right, Sylvie rolled a solid 10. Double digits, baby.
So Baldric starts doing like that guy on TikTok who like hits his guitar as he's strumming, and he starts going doodle doon doon ding ding. That's Garuda Valley.
Australian breakdancer.
Yes. Okay, so that is the first performance. Sylvie, you are lagging a little bit behind. Baldric appears to be, and no offense, Sylvie, sorry. This is what he does for a living. He performs. Okay, Guy and Ornan and Annalise, you approach the shed. There's nobody outside anymore.
And Guy remembers immediately, the song is called Lily Was Here, and the saxophone player's name is Candy.
Yes. Candy, come home. All right, so Guy and Ornan, what are you going to do?
I'll keep a lookout. You can go and pick the lock.
All right, I'm going to go, attempt to pick said lock.
Okay. You walk up to the lock. Guy, I am going to have you make a sleight of hand or thieves' tools check.
Okay, that's a 19.
You start fishing around in the mechanism for the lock. You feel like you are getting a good grip on the tumblers and things, and
kaboom.
Okay, Sylvie, make another performance check while this is going on.
Okay, that's a 16.
Oh, and Baldric rolled an 11. It is now 1-1 as you pull out your flute.
Holy
you do some
cow.
fancy Yaz flute, some Jethro Tull stuff.
Little Irish dancing in there, kicking up my legs a bit.
There you go.
Growling through your flute, yeah.
You can tell that Baldric is enjoying himself as you are having this contest, as Guy finally gets the last tumbler in place, and you feel that click, and you take 25 fire damage as the front door explodes in a ball of fire.
Whoa,
man.
So Ornan, you are outside. You hear this whoosh. It's not like a boom. It's like a flash fire, just whoosh.
Wow.
This big loud whoosh. I'm going to have Magram and Sylvie make perception checks with disadvantage because you are listening to the beautiful music.
Okie dokie. Ooh, Magram got a nat 1 for a 6.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, this music is really nice. All right.
Mine's being hella slow. Let's see. That's That is a 10.
And okay. So, Magram and Sylvie, you guys do not hear anything. And then you guys continue to play. Guy, you start patting yourself out as you have been hit by this fireball. Annalise comes running up, looking around, making sure everything's okay. And she is going to burn a spell slot, and she is going to heal you for 12 hit points. She's like, "Are you okay? Did you check for traps?"
I didn't know I was supposed to.
She's like,
never been
He's really
trapped
good at
before.
this.
They've never been trapped before. I got the lock open though. That's a good thing I'm wearing this helmet too. Like I don't think I'd have any eyebrows left.
We're going to do one last roll. And Baldric will be making this with disadvantage.
My eyebrows are still growing back from a couple of weeks ago.
I thought I promised that I would not go brewing any more urine in our hotel room. I'm sorry, Ornan. How many times do I have to
Get
apologize?
out of here.
All right.
Oh no.
Okay, as the bard off continues, Guy, you open the door and you peek into the shack. And Sylvie, what did you get with your last check as you guys finish out Garuda Valley from Legend of Zelda? What is your final check?
So we got a 7.
I want you to...
I know that's not right, but whatever.
Sylvie and Magram, I want you guys both to make perception checks real quick as Baldric finishes strong with a 27 performance.
Show off.
Disadvantage?
Nope, this perception is regular.
So we got a 4.
Ooh, Markham got a 24.
Magram, you see, even though Baldric continues playing and does really, really well, you see him get distracted for a second. You see him fumble a little bit, but pick it right back up. And you're not sure exactly why. Okay. All right. So the song ends. Baldric, he comes over to you, Sylvie, says, "Hey, better luck next time." And then he kind of leans in close to you, Sylvie, and he says, "By the way, you should probably go check on your friends."
You appreciate it. Nice playing there, bud. I hope to see you again soon.
What does he?
Sylvie's gonna leave then.
Okay, as you turn to leave, he says, "Be careful."
Be careful.
You too? That's a weird thing to say.
That is a weird thing to say.
Don't strum too hard.
You sense his mood when he leaned down to whisper to you to check on your friends. You sensed his mood change a little bit as soon as you guys leave.
Did I with my 4 perception?
No, you didn't. But Magram did. And then as you guys are leaving, he turns around and says, "All right, I'll be back up in just a second. Let me. I'm going to go take another break. Rest my fingers for a second." You guys leave the bar. Guy, you open the door. Inside, you see a relatively large room. It's probably about 30 feet across, only about 15 feet deep, but it's full of like old crates and like some just decrepit detritus. And it is an unused or at least seldom used storage. You see that on the back wall, there is another door leading further into the shed. Ornan, looks like you've come in as well. The floor is covered in like dust and there's cobwebs in the corners. If you guys want to do any kind of investigation or perception, just let me know. And then
I'm going to check for traps.
Okay. Why don't you check for traps?
Oh, I rolled a natural 19 for a 19.
Okay. As you start looking around, you don't detect any traps like in any of the crates or anything. These crates are like moldy and kind of falling apart. But you do detect on the door to go further into this shed or shack. You do detect, you see a small little glyph has been drawn next to the door handle. This door does not have a lock, but there is definitely a glyph upon it. Sylvie, are you...
Don't open that door, everyone. There's a spell on it.
Sylvie, are you going inside, or what are you doing?
Yeah, Sylvie would definitely make her way outside and try to catch up with everybody.
All right, you wander on over to the shed. Sylvie and Magram make perception checks.
Ornan also did a perception check and got a 1. I'm just trying to notice what's in the room.
Okay. You're overcome with the smell and the stink of like moldy and rotten boxes. As you look in one of the boxes that's kind of been the lid is kind of popped off a bit. You see rotted like wheat. You see like it looks like rat droppings and things in here. This place is disgusting.
Margrim, I found something that might interest you.
Oh, this smells awful.
Let's have a look here.
Oh, Margrim would love it.
Well, I see some droppings. I don't know if you only collect sentient beings' poo, but
Wait, rats are sentient,
That is
aren't
disgusting. And without even breaking stride, he walks over and starts putting him in a flask. He's like, I can't believe that you would assume that I would be interested in this disgusting stuff.
Oh my gosh. All right. So what was the perception checks for Margrim and Sylvie?
Margrim got a 15.
they? So we got 19.
Okay, I'm going to make one roll. Okay, Sylvie and Margrim, you both, as you are heading south and going towards the shed, as you go around the corner where you almost lose sight of the inn, you both see a figure step out of the inn and look in your direction and potentially even start walking your direction. It is a large but thin black dragonborn man, Baldric the Black.
Hey guys, I think we have
With
company.
Pranciful under his arm like a football.
Yes, he is still carrying Pranciful. Pranciful is not giving off any kind of danger sense or anything, but you can tell that Pranciful, I mean, you're relatively close. Pranciful, you can tell, is moving and not of his own volition.
He seems like a chill dude, but I don't know, he did beat me in my competition, and that does make me annoyed. Maybe we should kill him.
now, wait, hold on. I thought we needed to be dreamers to be part of this Wilhelm Associates.
Maybe he is. I guess we could ask. Subtly.
Am I hearing this too? You guys are in the shed now, okay?
Yeah, they've all come into the shed. You hear this conversation
Maybe
now.
we should talk to him a little bit more. If he has information, if he seems to be letting on he knows something. I feel like whatever. This place is very dangerous. I just blew myself up. I just blew myself.
I saw that. Well, perhaps we shut the door behind us so we're not open to the alleyway.
I mean, I think he knows we're here.
No, but I mean, if he wants to come and talk to us, he can follow us in, I guess.
Sylvia is still kind of standing in the doorway. As you guys are having this conversation, Sylvia, you turn around and just kind of, as you're talking, kind of looking over your shoulder, you see Baldric. He approaches the corner of the inn and kind of stands by the corner and looks at you and makes eye contact. And he's got Pranciful under his arm, kind of looks left, looks right. And then he squares his shoulders and walks towards you guys.
Sylvie's kind of going to smile and gesture him over like this was what she was expecting.
What are you doing here in this shed?
What are you doing following us and holding our snuggle pup?
Again, you left him. Like, you left him at the bar, and then you walked away and left him again.
He's a snuggle pup. He knows his way home.
He sets Pranciful, he spins Pranciful around in circles, sets him down. Go home. What does Pranciful do?
Well, I can communicate with him telepathically, and I'll just say, just go around the corner and I'll snap you away.
He waddles away with his cute little butt wiggling, and then he disappears.
Perfect. He'll be home within no time.
Sorry, Baldric the Black, what seems to be the problem, officer?
Oh, no. You mistake me. I'm no officer. No. I'm just I'm wondering what your interest is in this shed, in this shack, and I'm wondering how you're doing after you opened the door.
You know, I've been better, but I'm still here.
He kind of looks left, he looks right, and then he says,
What do you know about this place?
You can tell that he is like, if Dragonborns can chew their lip, I'm not sure if they can, if their mouths work that way, but he's chewing his lip. He is thinking. He has a lot of like bravado and like, no, bravado's the wrong word. He's just that confidently, he's very comfortable. He's quick to make a joke, and you can tell that right now he is a lot more reserved, and he is tentative. He says, I know that this shed doesn't belong to you. It belongs to a Kenku.
And what's your relationship with said Kenku?
None. What's your relationship with said Kenku?
Really, you've never seen through his eyes? You don't feel like you've ever kind of got the same vibe as him?
He raises one eye ridge, because they don't have brows because they're dragons.
He's got that crocodile eyelid thing that goes over his eye.
Yeah, yes. It says, seen through his eyes. Who are you?
My name is Ornan.
I'm Sylvie the
Wait, no.
flautist.
Hold, guys!
Oh, what was...
Your name is Toonses, and
Toonses.
your name is Sally.
Sally the flautist.
I forgot I was a cat.
Well, my name is Ross Lacrosse, and that's the real deal. That is
Yes.
my name.
Non
Honestly-
cross la cross.
Annalise kind of steps back further into the shack, and Ornan, you're kind of close enough to hear her mumbling something under her breath, and you can sense like the gathering of power about her, like she's maybe preparing some sort of a spell potentially.
You guys, I think this dude is pretty chill. Prancival seemed cool with him. And honestly, it's very clear he knew what we were up to.
Okay, Prancival is cute, but he's kind of a dum-dum. Let's be clear.
Well, yeah, why do you think we keep you around, bud? Come on now.
Oh.
I ask again, what interest do you have with the Kenku and with his things?
Well, his name is Bubbles, and he's got a brother down there, I think, and I'd like to find him.
Yes, his brother Jingles.
So you do know Bubbles.
How did you know the name?
You mentioned, he kind of looks left and looks right. He's like, either we go inside and get off the street, or we go somewhere else where it's safer to talk. But I would like to speak with you more. And he looks past you guys, and I would like to see what's further in here. I couldn't make it past this first door.
Come inside. We know Bubbles is in that PP building, so we don't have to worry about him for the time being.
And don't feel bad about the door. We have an expert lock cracker here, so don't.
Oh no,
don't
I
even
got the
worry
door
about it.
open. I got the door open. I just didn't want to get blasted by fire again.
Oh, so you got blasted too?
Yes.
Haha.
I was
Happens
finger
to the best
blasted.
of us. That's right. The Kenku totally cast finger blast on him.
That's right.
You seem so proud of this.
It was
It was a really dirty finger too. It got a little infected.
It was a life-changing experience.
it was a new experience, but it wasn't unpleasant.
He says, you are all...
It wasn't unpleasant.
You guys are all very glib about this, but I warn you, this Kenku Bubbles he's quite powerful. He's someone to fear.
We know.
Yeah, he kind of kicked our ass.
We know he's someone to fear. Yes.
It's not just his power, not just his magics. It's his connections. It's his intrigue, his machinations.
We have run into one of his acolytes before. It's actually how we found this place. But honestly, we're here looking for him, and not to necessarily put an end to his work or put him down or anything. We're looking for answers.
I think he could stand to be put down.
You seem to know something of his machinations, you say?
I've been watching him here in town for the last week and a half.
Why?
But I've been seeing through his eyes.
You have been seeing through his eyes.
Yes, I saw through his eyes as he trudged across one of these canals, and I recognized Cladvina instantly. And I knew that there was more to this dream. There was more to it than just it being a dream. And you know, as a performer, as a wanderer, I make my money on the road, and so I thought, well, why not Cladvina next? And as I got here, then I never suspected that he was as dangerous as he actually is.
We're currently accepting applications for new interns, and you meet the criteria.
We are Wilhelm Associates, and I go.
But there's already one flautist in this group.
I play stringed instruments.
Musician is already
The
covered.
benefits kind of suck. The benefits are pretty bad.
I'll go put my hand on his shoulder and I'll say, you know, with the dreams that you have, you just might be a mimic. Oops, sorry. Is that how the joke goes? I can't remember. The farther away from that dream I get, the less I remember the joke. But it was hilarious.
He says, I actually have been trying to turn some of those mimic jokes into a new tavern song. I just can't quite get it yet, but I'm working on it still. What is your plan here in the shed? Is it to go further in? I've seen him enter and not come back out for days. And then he'll leave and he won't come back here for days.
Well, then we should definitely search it.
This building is relatively small. I can't even imagine. Maybe there's a basement or something. But I wasn't able to get past that first door for fear of frying myself again.
Well, come with us. We're going to see what we can't find through this next door. But there's a magic on it. And I'm afraid that if we were to open it without dispelling it somehow, that this entire room will fill with something horrible. Any thoughts? I'm kind of tapped.
Let's see.
I think it could fill with urine.
Mom, I said something horrible. You would love it.
Well, I mean, I was thinking from your perspective. I don't want to think only about myself.
I appreciate the empathy.
Can I just say, I hate that this is my thing a little bit.
All right, I'll pull it back.
Annalise walks up to the door and looks at the glyph, and she kind of turns around and she says, "Are we going to go further in?"
I think we have to.
She begins to cast a spell, and she casts Dispel Magic, and you see the glyph, like the chalk, kind of blow away like dust, and the door is clear.
All right, who wants to go through first?
Sylvie's gonna prove herself to this newcomer Dragonborn who will just barge right in. Because honestly,
I
meant somebody,
but you can go.
I meant somebody a little more hardy.
No shame, no fear.
I'll follow
Sylvie,
close behind.
Sylvie, you open the door and you find yourself in a smaller room. These walls in here are all wood. They're kind of rotting and ramshackle. They're not like you can see through them to the outside, but this room is even smaller. It's like 15 feet by 15 feet, dominated by these very large crates. Looks like the crates like barely fit through the door. They're stacked up. They're just like forgotten about, and it's more of the same. And you see there is another door kind of to the left, which is the only other thing in this room.
Clear.
Have you met any of the other dreamers? Dream team? We call them the dream team. Have you met any of the other members?
So you all dream through Bubbles' eyes as well?
No.
It's not necessarily Bubbles.
No, everybody dreams through a different person.
I see through Jingle's eyes.
I see through the jester's eyes. And let me tell you, if Bubbles is dangerous, then I think that maybe he's cut from the same cloth as... what was his name? Hyuk.
And Jib Jab's never done anything wrong in their life, so I definitely see through their eyes.
Yes, and I'm the vulgar. I see through the eyes of the vulgar little drunken sprite.
I've only ever seen all of them during that very first vision. I remember a girl and a dwarven woman, and then Annalise says, "And Peter, the merchant, I see through his eyes." He says, "Yes, and then there was a dragonborn as well." But since then, it's just been Bubbles and Jingles, and now Jingles is something more.
Yes, I've been wondering about Jingles.
I worry about the state of Jingles, and I'd like to let his soul pass to whatever comes next.
Have you noticed, with Bubbles, a presence and an aura about him? Something that influences the world around him just because of his presence?
Maybe a little wild.
Or a little dead?
I've thought of that a lot. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that Bubbles deals in foul magics, necromancy. But no, just the last time I saw through Bubbles' eyes, there was a feeling, a sense of pressure or some sort of interference or pressure around him, and he was aware of it, but he did not seem to be too worried about it.
That would be Jib Jab. Be prepared for the wildlife around here to go a little haywire.
Okay, so I've stumbled into something way over my head.
Well, to be fair, again, it's not Jib Jab's fault. They're very innocent on this. But they do bring a pretty big curse.
They bring a pretty big curse, but they have, over the centuries, because this has been centuries, we've determined, isolated themselves in the wild so that at least currently they isolate themselves in the wild. We don't know what happened in the past with Alaron Barony and some of the settlements and towns that are no longer occupied.
Probably full of bratty kids trying to open coffins and
Right. What's this door look like, Paul?
This door looks like the other ones. It is kind of broken, but it's still, it still latches, but it's like you know how like wood changes color as water seeps up and soaks into it? Like the bottom of the door is like a much darker wood, and you can almost like nudge it with your toe and it'll almost like start to chip and crumble in just from mold and water, but the door is still latched. Are you doing an investigation check?
Hey, Sylvie, last time I saw a mark right here on the door. Let's see if there's anything similar. And I'm going to help Sylvie do an investigation because she's the bloodhound.
All right, make your investigation check with advantage.
That is what they call me. Come on. All right, so let's see. That is a 25.
Nice. You do see another glyph on this door. It looks the same as the one on the previous two doors. Well, the previous door. You didn't see the first glyph. It just exploded on you.
Annalise, do you think you could deal with this one too?
She says, I can. That will... I will be pretty much tapped for most of my spells after that.
I might be able to assist with that. I think I still have some of the Dark Lotus extract that I could use to dispel magical effects with.
Yeah, then maybe you take a turn, I guess.
If you want to cast Dispel Magic.
Make sure I have it prepared. Yes, I do. Okay. Margaret walks over and uncorks a flask and kind of starts sprinkling it on the glyphs that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to roll. You want me to roll for it, right?
No, you don't need to roll for it. It's a level 3 spell, and you're casting Dispel Magic at a level 3. The glyph disappears. Again, it kind of crumbles away like chalk dust, and there is now just a door. Can you even see?
I can't. In fact, I was just about to say, I'm going to pull out one of my flares and light up a flare.
Okay. Let's turn that on.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's push on through this door.
You, as you open this door, it it almost just falls apart in your hand. No insight check needed. There is no way that Bubbles won't realize somebody came in here. 3 glyphs have been dispelled or burned up, and a door is practically coming apart. Guy, as you open the door and make your way into this kind of final chamber here in this shack, it is another 15 foot by 15 foot room. You can see that there are crates stacked up around the sides of the room, but there is a clear space sort of in the middle, right in front of the door, that there's nothing there blocking it. And as you look down, you see scratched into the flagstones of the floor, you see an intricate kind of mandala type of a shape, a circular pattern of repeating lines and figures and shapes. And I'll have everyone make Arcana checks. Sylvie, you can make it with advantage.
Ooh, you got a 2.
Ornan got a 7.
Ooh, Margrim got a 14.
Sylvie got a 16.
Okay, let me just check one thing here real quick. So nobody beat the difficulty of 17, but what I will tell you is that it's obviously magical, and Sylvie, you recognize what looks like a teleportation circle. You have used these in the past, not you specifically, but the hive where you are from uses old ancient teleportation circles in helping get their agents or whatever out throughout via Severia and out throughout the world. In fact, Sylvie, you used a teleportation circle to get from your hive to Baragrad right before we started this campaign a year ago. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Happy birthday to us.
Well, kind of. Happy birthday to this campaign.
Did we make a cupcake that we get to smash?
No. So if anybody wants to investigate this, I will tell you this. You guys were not high enough in your Arcana scores to determine sort of where this goes. But there's other things you might be able to figure out here in this room if you want to take the time.
Okay, quick question, Paul.
Yes.
The spell Identify,
Yes.
it says you touch an object. Would the floor be considered an object, or like the symbol itself? Could I cast Identify on the symbol and get maybe some information? Or is the Arcana check going to be pretty much all we'll get from it?
You know what? With your Arcana check that you already rolled, of what did you roll?
A 2.
Okay, you're not sure. You've never encountered anything like this. So the only way that you could determine if it would give you more information is to spend the 10 minutes and cast it.
All right, everybody, I'm going to give me a little bit of space, but feel free to poke around the room. And I'm just going to sit down on the floor in the middle of the teleportation circle and start putting out some candles and some spreading some sand and other things for my ritual.
All right.
The Bloodhound's going to investigate.
Okay. So you roll an investigation check. What did you get?
18. Perfect.
Magram and Ornan, what are you guys doing?
You know, I feel like Margrim also probably would have been investigating, but maybe he's kind of helping out Sylvie with her investigation.
Okay.
Ornan is going to go back to the front room and just keep watch. Not go out of the door, but like waiting by the door to make sure nobody's coming in while they're doing their stuff.
Yeah, Baldric the Black is going to follow you as well. You can see that he make an insight check, Ornan.
That's a 10 insight. My highest roll of the night.
Oh my gosh. You sense anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety around Baldric, and as he walks out, he says, "What are we doing? I came here to find out what was going on with this Kenku from my dreams, and now I'm standing in a shed, and I have you all who say you see dreams, and there is some sort of magical symbol on the ground, and we're trying to figure out what it does, and I feel like I'm in way over my head."
Oh, I've felt that way for a year now, it feels like. But no, we mostly just bumble our way through things, and things seem to turn out okay most of the time. We'll get through this, don't you worry.
Make a persuasion check.
Hey, I rolled a 23.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
You see him start to walk towards the door, and he's starting to say something, and you say, "We'll get through it." There's something comforting and almost fatherly, almost like you're talking to Kino, right? That's kind of the pep talk you just gave Baldric, and he kind of squares his shoulder, turns around, and he says, "You're right. I've come too far to not see this through. If nothing else, maybe we can get this dreams to end."
I would like them to end sometime too. We met some people in our travels, some witches or something. They said that it's only the dreamers that can stop whatever's happening. So I guess that would include you too.
I don't know how I feel about that. He sits down on one of these crates and it instantly disintegrates underneath him. So then he kind of pulls himself up off the ground, and then he goes and he leans up against the wall instead, just kind of thinking.
I might have a chair in my backpack. Let me see what I've got. Something for you to sit on. Hold on a minute.
All right. As you and Baldric are kind of having this conversation, Sylvie and Mogram, you guys are investigating this symbol. Again, you can't determine where it goes as Guy is walking around setting up candles and pulling out chalk to do his identification spell. But Sylvie and Mogram, as you guys are looking at it, you do determine one thing. With your 18 investigation, you determine that this teleportation circle is different than ones that Sylvie has used before in one simple way. This teleportation circle is new. This is not an ancient one like you've used in the past. Basically, the Hive has found teleportation circles or found access to them from ages past. This is new. The scratching on the stone is new. You can tell that a lot of these scratches have not had time to discolor. And when I say new, if this shack here is 60 years old, then this symbol here on the ground is maybe 3 or 4 years old. So relatively new.
Do I know enough to know if this would need like a sister symbol to travel to? Like, does it only travel to one? Does it need a sister? Like, do I know any idea of how these things work?
So this symbol on the ground, when it is activated, it will take you to one specific place. So yes, it kind of has like a sister. So this symbol here is also one that if you have knowledge of this symbol and you have access to the spell, you can also then create the symbol somewhere else and teleport back here. So just for future reference, Sylvie, this is now a teleportation circle that you will have in your brain forever if you ever do get the spell teleportation circle.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll definitely sketch it down in my little notebook or something just to keep a picture of it.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, 10 minutes pass. Guy, you finish your identification spell. Identification spell tells you this is a floor. This is a teleportation circle. It tells you this is basically, so here, let me pull it up. This is a teleportation circle. You can tell that this is conjuration magic, and it is a 5th level spell. The one thing you can tell with your identify is it tells you that the destination is far away. And when you get that impression, you get the impression miles and miles and miles away. And also identification tells you how to activate it. Basically, there is a small set of runes in the middle of the mandala, and you have to trace it with your finger, starting at one point and then going all the way around without breaking your line, and then come back and make that full circuit, and then it will activate the teleportation circle. The teleportation circle will only stay active for 6 seconds. So anyone who's going through has to get through it within 6 seconds, and that's what you gather with identification.
So based on that description, that is the act of tracing that symbol. That would be casting the 5th level spell. Or
yes,
I could do that now, and we could potentially travel.
You could do that now. Like this circle is kind of a little different than the actual spell in that this circle will allow anyone to use it. Sylvie knows that some of the circles that she's used in the past, like there's one, the one outside of Beregrad. It's actually about a day's ride outside of Beregrad. I'm telling this to everybody, but I don't think Sylvie's necessarily told you guys this. But there is this ruin, and there is a teleportation circle there in the ruin, and there is a small bell. And when you ring the bell, it doesn't make any noise. And then about anywhere between a minute and 10 minutes later, the teleportation circle will activate and you have 6 seconds to get through it. And Sylvie, you would know that when you ring the bell outside of Beregrad, it doesn't ring in Beregrad, it rings in the hive and notifies somebody to activate the teleportation circle for you.
Nice, cool. No, I think I would explain that as I'm looking at this thing. And then I think I would also like to ask Baldric, how long have you been dreaming of the city specifically? This symbol seems to be about 4-ish years old.
Says, no, I just started dreaming a few weeks ago. I had a dream of the temple and the girl and the thing rising from the tomb. And then I had a dream of Kenku Bubbles walking across these canals and being followed by a figure in the dark. And I knew instinctively that it was his brother. And I recognized Cladvina from my travels. And I was close by, so I decided, hey, why not have an adventure? You know, I had no place else to go, so I decided to wander here, and I've been here ever since. It didn't take me long to find this shack. Just a couple of days wandering through the city.
And the figure was following Bubbles?
Yes.
Not attached.
Is that was Jingles? Jingles had been animated by then.
Yeah, Jingles has a body.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, everybody. I have some good news. Maybe. I think I can activate this teleportation circle. I think I can make it go. And I think it would take us miles and miles from here.
The closest approximation is like over 300 miles away.
Oh.
Over 300 miles away.
Good heavens.
Would we be able to make it back?
If there is a sister symbol linked to this one, maybe it might function in the same way. I don't know, but there's honestly no telling where this would take us, and I don't...
It sounds like the job for an intern to figure out.
Well, Sylvie, you would know with your Sylvie, you would know with your Arcana that you already rolled that this kind of a symbol, there will be a sister symbol, and you should be able to use it to get back. The only way that it wouldn't be able to get used to get back is if somebody came along and broke the symbol.
But if they broke the symbol beforehand, would we be able to travel there, or would it prevent us?
No.
Okay.
No. And in fact, you would know with the identification spell that the sister symbol was broken, and that this form of travel would not work. Identification would have told you whether or not this would work at all.
Well, then it seems like we don't have much to lose. I'm happy to go first.
Well, no, we all go together. We all stand in here, and it'll be active for 5 or 6 seconds, and anybody could jump through at that point.
And you're sure we don't want to send the intern to go get coffee through it, right?
I was thinking maybe we should leave the interns behind, to be honest. Or at least maybe one of them.
I think that's fair.
Baldric's like, wait, am I the intern? Are you talking about me? Am I the intern?
Yes, you're the new one.
Annalise says, I resent being called the intern.
Acolyte is literally the same thing as intern. It's just religious. Calm down.
Regardless, we can go now and be assured that we could go over there and most likely pop back. But were we to go over and then stay too long and Bubbles comes and destroys this, or for whatever reason this gets damaged, then we may be stuck 300 miles away from Duchess.
I would feel better if I had the new hammer I commissioned before we go off and do something like that.
Mogram contemplates the idea of being away from Stormhoof and then shrugs his shoulders.
Well, there's also Danon. Danon wanted to know more about what was going on here. She was more interested in Jib Jab and their influence, but she may want to know what's going on here with the necromantic influence as well.
So Annalise says, the only issue is if we don't go now, there's a chance Bubbles might come back and find out that his traps have been tripped and that there's nobody dead inside. He'll know somebody's onto him. And we already attacked him in the street.
Maybe Annalise could go get Danon?
What if we destroyed the symbol? Then he'd be trapped here in the city.
Annalisa goes, that's a good idea.
He'd have to recreate it, which isn't the end of the world for him.
Sylvie, with your Arcana, you would know it takes a year to create a symbol. You have to make it every day for a year.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Sylvie will say that. But also, if he spent that much time, putting that much effort into it, I want to at least see where it goes. I can come right back. It doesn't take that long.
I wouldn't let you go alone, though.
Well, maybe a couple of us, and then we can leave a couple of us behind.
I have another idea. And I'm not saying this is what we should do. I'm just saying this is another idea. This shack is falling apart, actively falling apart. What if we move...
The tin roof is rusted.
I know.
There's glitter on the mattress.
I know, and on the front porch. What if we moved one of these crates carefully, knocked part of the wall out there, and then tried to put it back, and so that would give us a different way back into this shed, and we could go rest for the night and then try to come back tomorrow? I mean, as you were saying, Baldric, you were saying that oftentimes Bubbles will leave for days at a time and not come back, so...
Yeah, through the shack, though.
Right, but he also would go out the front door and not come back for a long time and then come back to the shack. So he'd spend days in here, and he'd also spend days away from here.
Baldric says, I watched him spend 3 days in here, and then I watched him leave and be gone for 3 days. And then he came back, and he was in here for 2 days, and now he's been out again for the last 2 days. I don't know if that's a pattern or if he has specific things that he's doing. I'm unsure. I don't know. I worry this is our only shot. Annalise says, I think that destroying the symbol might be a good idea, especially if some of his power, if this takes us to where maybe he is doing a lot of his, research or his experiments. This might help protect the people of Pythria from Bubbles' power.
I agree it should be destroyed, but I think we should see where this leads.
What if he's leaving and coming back so that he doesn't overwhelm Cladvina with his influence? We saw what happened when Jib Jab was around. We saw what happened to the wildlife, and everything was aggressive, everything was attacking, and when they left the area, things calmed down. I'm wondering if this might be a pressure release valve for the necrotic energy that follows Bubbles.
And Annalise says, and maybe he's been here in town for a while, more often than he had been, and that's why there's a necropurge going on here. Maybe that's why the Krahanest is involved.
And destroying this might actually spell doom for Cladvina. I don't know. This is all not what I prepared in life to do. So just those are my initial thoughts.
So if he's been here for longer than he normally would want to be, perhaps that has to do with Cassandra the Unnatural, that he is hoping to rendezvous with her and has been spending more time hoping to hear back from his protege. And so perhaps that's a way that we can engage in a conversation, because clearly he did not wish to engage in a conversation relative to what we've seen in terms of the dreams. But maybe that message, maybe that will get him to engage with us a little bit more. Does anyone recall that note or have access to it?
The one from Cassandra?
Yes.
Somebody pulls it out of their bag and can read it.
Probably the one with the big bag.
If you guys give me a second.
I've got a side pocket for all the letters.
I can find it. Give me a second.
It's on the wiki under Cassandra's character. I looked at it just today.
Oh, you did? Okay, I was going to my notes.
I believe he threatened to raise her as an undead beastie or something.
That sounds familiar.
Hate those undead beastie bros. Hate them.
Oh, I can't stand it. You know I planned it.
Actually, I had it. I can read it to everybody. It says...
Thank you. I couldn't find
no,
it.
It says K, Exercise caution in Alaron. The land grows wilder with each passing year. Show me your worth with this foolish knight, and I will show you more of my secrets. If you prove yourself, find me at year's end in Cladvina betwixt the willows and the silver. If you fail, perhaps there's still a way for you to serve. ... Signed, Masturbator.
MB.
I mean,
That's
MB,
right.
sorry, MB. We thought it was Masturbator, but now we're thinking maybe it's Bubbles. Master Bubbles.
Mr. Bubbles.
Monsieur
Bubbles?
Bublé.
Monsieur Bublé.
So Baldric has moved into the circle, into this area with the circle, and he kind of sets his shoulders and he says, well, fortune favors the bold. If you activate this, I'll go through. Just show me how to activate it so I can get back.
You're absolutely right, Matt Damon.
Yeah, Sylvie will step up and hold his hand and be like, me too, bud.
I mean, I want to see where this goes.
Flute and loot, hand in hand.
Flute and loot
Well,
and
let's-
cute.
Well, I guess let's give it a shot.
Do we need to leave anybody back behind, or should we just go and come back as, don't spend more than 10 minutes there?
I think we should leave at least Annalise behind.
Why did... Her name is Lisa, shut up.
Lisa.
Yeah, come on, Sally.
Wait, we're all the dream team here.
Baldric
It's fine,
says,
they're
don't worry,
interns."
it's fine, at least I know what to call you. I mean, it's not like Baldric's my first name, my real name. Well, let's do this.
Wait, it's not?
You bought yourself an alliteration dictionary, didn't you?
Baldric the Black Dragon Bard, yes. They call me Baldric the Black.
What did your mother call you?
Son.
If anybody doesn't want to come, feel free to stay behind. I don't know that we need to leave anybody, because honestly, I just feel like they'd be in more danger here by themselves, and they wouldn't be able to do anything for us anyway. Except for maybe distract Bubbles if he came back.
Yeah, distract and prevent Bubbles from destroying this thing so we're not trapped 300 miles away.
Right, and I plan to come. I plan to come a lot to the thing.
Again and again and again.
Annalise says, if that's the job that you want from me, I can do that. I can do that.
The plan is to come right back, right? I don't want to go. I'd really feel better if I had my hammer to go off and adventuring,
The plan is to come right back.
All right.
And to not kill anyone. We're very good at following plans.
All right.
Well, hopefully there's, unless if it's because Sandra the Unnatural, that we might have to re-kill her, but at that point she's already dead, so it doesn't count.
So you would know also that it's not year's end yet, so Bubbles might not be waiting for Cassandra yet. Still have another month and a half.
Oh, we're fine, no worries. But if there are Zombros, we will kill them. Or no.
And then give one to a third world country as well.
All right. So everyone who's going to go steps into the circle. Annalise kind of looks at you all. She says, good luck. I'll wait for you. Just find me in the Weathered Willows.
Thank you.
I will start to trace the specific characters with my finger. And as I do, I say, hold on to your butts.
Oh man.
As you trace your finger, you can see that once you put it in the correct spot to start, as you slide your finger along the runes, the trail left by your finger glows. Not like bright, like LED lights or something like that, but there's just this kind of dim, dull glow that follows your finger as you snake it around through these symbols. And at first, as you're following the symbols, it seems like you're taking some kind of a weird path. But once you get back around to the top, to the beginning, look down and you realize that the path that you have followed with your finger is perfectly symmetrical, top to bottom and left to right. But it is this kind of winding path. And as you reach back around to the front and they connect, suddenly bright light floods up from the ground. This column of light, anyone standing in the circle is instantly whisked away, and anyone who's not in the circle runs and jumps into it before it disappears in 6 seconds.
I was hoping that I was tracing out and it was Jeremy Baramy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
What is the dot on the eye? Oh, how do I explain this? That's Tuesdays.
That's I forgot about that. That's so good.
I loved that show.
I love when Janet just points at the word Jeremy Barry somewhere random place and she says, "That's my birthday."
Light surrounds you. You feel from like your core, from like somewhere behind your belly button, just get tugged. And you don't know how you know this, but southeast. That's the impression that you get as you fly through this conduit of light. You're not sure how long it takes. It could be a matter of like 2 seconds, or it could be minutes or even hours. And suddenly you find yourself almost like you land gently on your feet. And the light disappears. You find yourself in a circular room. It is stone. The floor is this cold stone. The wall around you it's this circular wall, kind of on one corner. Well, circles don't have corners, but it's almost like teardrop shaped. And one side of the teardrop, where it's a point, has an archway leading into a hallway that goes off to the right. There are torches lit around this room, and you are standing on an identical copy of that teleportation circle. We have Sylvie, Guy, Magram, Ornan, and Baldric all standing here in this space. Ornan, instantly, you recognize this place from your last vision. Not necessarily this room, but the feel of it. The feel and memory of you as Jingles standing in a dark room and then having Bubbles come and open the door and ask, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" As you kind of steady yourself. It takes just like a second or two before everything kind of settles. Your vision stops being blurry and double vision, and it kind of refocuses. You are standing here in this circular room with a hallway going off to the right. And what are you guys going to do?
This is where Jingles is, or at least where he was the last time I saw him.
Then lead the way.
Are we exploring this place, or are we just taking a quick peek? Like I said, I'm not equipped as well as I'd like to be in the morning.
We see a round room.
Are we ready for any potential fight?
We could run if we need to. Back to the sigil.
Yeah, how long does it take to activate the sigil?
1 action.
Okay. I'll stay here. You guys can go explore. I'll be ready to cast this as soon as you get back. And I'll snap my fingers, and Prancival is here, and Prancival can go with them.
I guess let's go quickly and at least get a quick scout and lay of the land, and if there's anything we can investigate quickly, then perhaps we do that. And
I would love to find out more about where we are. I know you said southwest, but
Baldric sees Prancival pop out into existence, kind of is taken aback, looks over at you, Guy, and gives you a little half smile. And then if you're cool with it, he's going to bend over and pick up Prancival and carry him like a football again. Very cool. All right, as you guys kind of move around this room is like 15-foot radius. So it's like a 30-foot diameter circular room with the teleportation circle right in the center, kind of built up on this little plinth. This stone in here is much better, better laid and much more sturdy looking than the flagstones back in that shack. And this teleportation circle is actually built on sort of a slightly raised, almost like a curb high, little circular platform. The hallway goes off to the right. As you guys move into the hallway, you can see again torches lining the walls. I'm gonna have everyone make perception checks.
Let me roll for Prancival.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for Baldric.
Ornan got a 6.
Baldric got a 6.
Magram got a 21.
Sylvie got a 4.
Pranceville got an 11.
As you guys are moving through, maybe it's still a little bit of like almost like a little nausea or something from the teleportation circle. You don't actually feel sick, but you do feel just kind of a little off. But Magram, you have your shield out. You're kind of wary and looking around, watching. You notice, first off, these torches don't give off smoke. Again, these are these ever-burning flames that don't give off heat and don't give off smoke, but definitely give off some light. Even with the torches, though, it still has this sort of a, not necessarily like, this isn't like a haunted house, like intentionally scary, but this has a very deep, heavy feel to this place, and these torches, even though they light up the area, it still feels dark and oppressive, and you're not sure if that's because of the stone barrel vaulted ceilings over the top of you and no windows, or if this place just has some sort of power that you can sense as you're moving through. As you move into this hallway, you can see about halfway down the hallway to the left, there is another archway, and I'll explain that one in a second. And then at the very end of the hall, probably about 60 feet down the hall, there is another archway that looks like it mirrors the one that you came out of. But this archway here in the middle of the hallway to the left, you can see there is a step up to this archway. And then there are these, you don't need to make an investigation check. This is very easy to see. There is some sort of a red like arcane symbol that is drawn in the archway on the floor. Yet you're not sure what it means, but there are also these two gargoyles that are set on either side of the archway, and they are facing in towards each other at like a 45-degree angle, and both of them are belching fire, and there is no way to get through this archway without walking through the path of their flame. You can see past it, though, through the flickering flames, there is a large room beyond. Really, all you can tell is that there are some columns holding up the floor or holding up the ceiling above. You can see, some of you have dark vision, you can see quite a ways. There are more of these candles. You can see there's some kind of a massive magical symbol in the middle of the room. Looks like there's some grates or some drains on the floor. There's a door at the far end. You can also see, it looks like between some of these columns, there are curtains that have been hung. These kind of thick black wool curtains that are blocking off different areas of the room beyond. But that is all you can tell from here through the flame.
I think Sylvie would love to just like whip out her like drawing pad and try to get like as much of that center sigil that as she can, the one that like is actually behind the gates. But then as soon as she does that, I'm gonna piece back out to Guy.
Okay. Why don't you make Arcana or Investigation check? What's everybody else doing?
Is there any kind of gap that a tiny little guy like Pranceville could squeeze through?
I mean, you could boop him out and boop him back in on the other side, probably.
Okay, having seen this through Pranceville's eyes, Guy's just going to move up the hallway too, right to there, and snap Pranceville 30 feet into the room.
Gotcha. All right, as Sylvie is trying to draw this symbol, Ornan and Magram, what are you doing? There is this archway that goes into this large room beyond, and then there is another archway at the end of the hall.
Yeah, Ornan would just poke his head into that room that's on the end of the hall. Just kind of see where that goes.
Yeah, as you look through that archway, you can see that it actually, the floor changes from this stone into wood. And the wood is actually, it looks nice, like nice hard wood, planed smooth. It has like a finish on it. There is a staircase. It looks like this room that you're entering into is also circular. And there is a staircase that rises up to the floor above you. All you can see is the staircase winding around from where you're standing in the archway. Is anyone going with Ornan as he wanders away?
I guess Magram could. Yeah, if these guys are stopped at the first door, Magram will go with Ornan to the last one.
Okay. I think Baldric will go with Ornan as well. Okay, so as you guys are going up the stairs, Sylvie, your investigation check, what did you get?
Got 19.
Guy, as you send Pranceville through, what is he doing? Is he investigating as well?
He's gonna basically just get a better look around the room. So, like for example, this sigil.
Okay.
The sigil on the ground, I can see that there are various pieces of a skeleton at different points within a triangle that's around in this circle. So there's like the skulls in the middle, the legs are at the top, torso's on the bottom left, and arms are on the bottom right. It looks like there's some rooms in here. It looks like there's some kind of a staff on a table in the back room. Looks like an enchanting table, or in the back of the room. Looks like an enchanting table from like Skyrim or I guess Oblivion. So Pranceful's just going to be sniffing around the room.
Okay, perfect. All right, as Pranceful continues to sniff around with your investigation of 19, Sylvie, you see that symbol in the middle, and you can see, especially as Guy starts calling out what he sees through Pranceful's eyes, your first thought is necromancy. And then your next thought is you recognize as you are writing this symbol down, this symbol is actually not from the school of necromancy, you don't believe. Maybe I should have had you do Arcana, but investigation works just fine too. Your Arcana is great too.
To be fair, I have a +7 for both, so.
Well, we'll call this Arcana instead. You recognize this symbol is actually one of protection. And with your 19 Arcana, you continue to, unless you want to do something else while you're here, if this is kind of all you want to do for the next 10 minutes, then I can give you some more information about this sigil. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to go into the room, even like Misty stepping or, stepping in there. I don't want to do that.
We're jumping back over with Ornan, Magram, and Baldric. As you guys move around, are you guys going up the stairs?
I'll just take a quick peek up there. I'm not trying to do too much exploring, but just to
Yeah, I think tentatively.
You start moving up the stairs, and the first thing that you can notice is you sense as you start walking up the stairs the crackle of energy. Power, almost like when you have been too close to lightning, when somebody has cast a lightning spell or something, or a shocking grasp, or I guess when Sylvie scuffs her feet, you hear that crack.
Happens to the best of us.
You feel that crackle of energy. You can hear it, and as you get to the top, you look over and you see this weird kind of contraption. It's almost like a gyroscope. Where you pull the string and it spins in place. There is a wooden pedestal, large pedestal, about 15 feet across, kind of octagonal. And in the center is a large gyroscope that is spinning. Yeah, if you guys keep moving in, you can see it. It is spinning in place very quickly, and there is electricity arcing off of it. Not like shooting out at you like you're worried you're going to get hit or something, but there is this blue electricity arcing back and forth across the gyroscope. You also see there is some sort of a conduit or tube or hose that is coming down off of this pedestal, and then it heads into the wall. And as you're trying to do the math in your head of where this conduit goes, you think this conduit hits the wall that would go back into the larger room. And then one last thing you see is as you get to the top of these stairs, you see that there is an archway that opens out onto a balcony. And Baldric kind of stops looking at this contraption, and he actually steps out onto the balcony. Anybody who wants to join him can join him.
Yeah, Ornan will follow.
Yeah, Magram will too.
Okay, you step out onto this balcony, and it overlooks a dark forest. You are high up. It looks like you're standing on a tower, a round tower, but as you look around, this tower is built coming out of the side of a rocky hill, and it rises up just barely above the tops of the trees. As you look to your left, you're not quite sure which direction you're looking, like north, east, west, or south, because it's dark out. It is nighttime. You cannot see the sun. If anybody wants to make a nature check to try to tell which direction is which by the stars, you guys can make that determination. But you see a leafy green forest spread out in front of you. Every once in a while, you think you spot some brown or some orange or some red of autumn, but a surprising amount of these leaves are still green. Also, when you step out onto the balcony, it is warmer than it was in Pythria, in Cladvina. You don't also feel that. You feel humidity in the air, but it's not the cold, dreary rain of Pythria barony. This is a warmer humidity.
Could we be in Loxania?
I was wondering the same thing, and it kind of furthers the connection of the necropurges and Bubbles and those that are working with him.
Have any of you been to Loxania before?
Yeah, Margrim went on a crusade down that way.
You recognize these trees as being very common to be the trees found in the Great Loxania Forest.
Interesting.
Guy will call out from down below, and he'll say,
Wait, am I wild? And did you not say we traveled southwest?
southeast.
Did I say southwest? I meant southeast. Did I say southwest?
I wrote down southwest, so maybe I was wrong. I was looking at the wrong place on the map.
Listeners, I meant southeast.
Guy will call out, and he'll say, I think I may have found Jingles.
Oh,
As Pranciful begins to move around the room, you can see that, yes, there are these areas that are curtained off. As Pranciful continues to explore this big, large, wide open room, he gets to the back corner. And in the back corner, next to this large sort of enchanting table, there's this staff with like a green gem on it. There's this kind of internal glow coming off of the staff, but Pranciful is drawn to the figure next to it. The figure next to it is a very large, like 10, 11 foot tall construct. It looks like a statue, but it's sort of red, kind of terracotta colored. And you can see that there is some sort of a post, an electrode or something sticking out of its chest. And then there are 2 electrodes on the ground that are arcing more of this blue lightning energy towards the electrode in the chest. And you see that this construct is being powered, it looks like, as Pranciful is standing there staring at this construct. There's also like a desk. You can see that on the walls, like the actual stone walls, there are some doors that lead into other rooms. Again, at the very back of the room, you already saw this, there was a door. But as Pranciful is standing there, have Pranciful make a perception check. Sylvie, as you spend 10 minutes looking at this glyph, you recognize it as a glyph of protection. And the bones that are set in this glyph are particularly to protect from undead and necromancy. The size of this glyph indicates some massive power. You have never seen a glyph of this size. This is not like etched in the stone like the teleportation circle. This is like drawn on the rocks with blood or chalk or something. But it's massive. This whole circle is probably 30 feet across.
But it's anti necromancy.
It is anti-necromancy. And as you finish drawing the symbol in your notebook, you recognize that this is an attempt to hinder the aura that potentially Bubbles exudes, at least here in this laboratory, this sanctum.
Pranciful rolled a 13 perception.
Pranciful turns around, looking around this room through your eyes. As Pranciful turns around, Pranciful, you turn around, you look around the room trying to determine where you're going to go next, and as you turn back towards this clay construct, suddenly there is movement as it steps forward and takes a big swing at Pranciful.
My beautiful baby boy. He has an AC of 13.
And this thing rolled a 13 naturally, so there is no way Pranciful survives this.
He's got 1 hit point.
Huge boot or huge foot comes down, crushing Pranciful. Sylvie, you hear it.
No, he turns into sparkle dust.
He does, but you still hear that as he is gone, and your vision of what is going on outside or inside that large room is now gone. I am going to have everyone roll initiative next time.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness, you guys. You
got a 22.
Well, you guys found Bubbles' laboratory. And as you were exploring it, one thing I will tell you, Guy, Pranciful saw this construct. And at first you thought this might be Sprinkles or Jingles. But now you're fairly certain this is not Jingles.
Mm-hmm.
Jingles was still relatively man-sized. This thing is bigger.
Okay.
That is where we were at right now. We have Sylvie and Guy in the hallway. We have Baldric and Ornan and Magram out on this balcony. One thing I forgot to tell you, there is a telescope out on the balcony, so you guys can look at the telescope next time when we're together. But we are going to roll initiative because there is now a clay construct that is aware of intruders in this laboratory. Whew. Hey, thank you guys so much for playing. This has been fun. This is what I thought was going to happen like 2 episodes ago.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. All right, you guys. Well, hey, if you like what we're doing, you should go check out our Patreon. Give me monies. Yum, yum, yum.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We have been doing Chorus of the Forsaken for a whole year now, which blows my mind. It seems like only yesterday I was talking with Matt trying to figure out what we should call this new campaign. And we settled on Chorus of the Forsaken. I can't believe it's already been a year, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, for listening in, for having all your input that you have in our Discord. We really love it when you guys talk to us. We love talking back and just sharing your excitement and your insight, your predictions and some of your theories about what's going on in Via Severia in the Chorus of the Forsaken campaign. Don't forget, we are going to be at FanX here in the next few weeks, 2024 in Salt Lake City. So if you want to meet us, we'll be there. We're going to get together at some point afterwards, after like one of those nights to get together and do something, maybe do karaoke again like we did before. And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.